Hello, people that are suffering from the surveillance, deep state surveillance attacks and narcissistic attacks. Well, good news is if you're new targets, now you know what is going on. You can talk to people like me and other people that are on YouTube about this all across the world. We'll give you a lending ear when nobody else will. That's why we're here. We're here to communicate with you because your therapist is going to set you up. Your doctors are involved with this. Okay, the local community stress centers, not all of them are involved, but they're simply indoctrinated and they don't know any other protocol. And we're all trained to believe that a man in a suit or a man that has an RN or a woman that has an RN badge must know what they're talking about. They did, in fact, go to school for it. So they must, in fact, know the truth. Well, in fact, that may be true for a little bit or a lot of information, but you're getting a lot of misinformation, and you know now that you're awakened that you've been fed a spoonful, a crock pot full of misinformation your entire life. But there is the good news is you can rebound from this. You can come back from this, and you can cause the major upset that you've been so wanting, you've been so desiring. And that major upset is staying clear to your goals, never giving up, and putting and applying the effort, answering the correct questions and getting the correct answers quickly, but also giving yourself leisure and time to recuperate. Yeah, we're all social creatures. We weren't created to be like this, okay? The abnormal part of it, which is actually normal, but it's not normal for human beings to be isolated, to be subjected to torture, electronic harassment, hacked bank accounts. And then when you go to talk to anybody about this, you have proof of most of this stuff, except for not all of it. And they'll act since like you don't have proof of all of it, that you are making it up. Those very same people are most likely involved, or they're indoctrinated, or both, formally or informally. That's their involvement. Um, yeah, they don't look. It gets to the point where you can't carry more than a couple sentences worth of a conversation to them. In reciprocity, you can't reciprocate that conversation in it with an even flow. It's going to be a very uneven, disproportionate conversation that tends to lean on one way as opposed to the other way. Well, you're going to have to cut them off, and you're going to have to leave them. That's what I wanted to redo in this video is go back to the basics here. Go back to the core fundamentals and principles. The integrity. Have integrity for yourself. You don't want to be a manipulated puppet. You don't want puppets to manipulate you as their miniature sock puppet. Okay? That's what they want. They want you to be their sock puppet if you allow them to be. If you're allowing them to be, well, now you don't have to. Now you know. You don't have to allow that anymore. You're old enough now, and most of you, it doesn't matter what age you are. You've been going through this a while. I have too. That you are the subjected scapegoat for some reason. And that's just the cold truth of what you're dealing with. And if you can't hold more than a couple sentences worth of conversation, or you're feeling, a lot of you will feel dependent on the narcissist, or like the narcissist wants to feel like they're there for you in some weird way. They want to feel like they were there to help you, that you depended on them, and that because of their effort and their doings, that you are at least alive, and that you should be very grateful for what the narcissist has provided. Their narcissistic supply was only fueled by you, and if they can't get that extra fuel, they'll get it elsewhere. So don't worry. The parasitic approach of narcissists will have to have a feeding frenzy on someone else, and it'll have to move on away from you as a human being. Its existence will have to then leech on and magnetize and reciprocate to someone else in exchange. There'll be no exchangeable value there, no transactional value. It won't be worthy of anything because, and the great thing is you won't be affected when you get away from them by the immediate family, or you'll still be affected by people You'll still feel the backlash of society. Don't get me wrong. You're still going to endure that. Wherever you go, it could get greatly improved by moving to a different city. I would highly recommend that. And that's what I'm now working on. And it's probably going to take me a month or two because I've got some stuff I'm waiting on. But if you can drop what you're doing now and go leave and work remotely, why wouldn't you? Think outside the box. Everything we've been told, there's loopholes, there's gaps, there's spaces, there's payment options, there's payment plans, different alternatives to some stuff that now I'm resurfacing again after severe torment and severe harassment. That for the last time, I've drawn the line in the sand a while back, and for these people to be so persistent and so idiotic with their persistent narcissistic fueled behavior, being you or being the fuel that's fueling their narcissistic supply. You're their supply slash fuel that they're getting. Once they get you as their fuel, that's what supplies them. That's what fuels them. When you cut bait with these people and you start to do well in life, don't be surprised if they somehow randomly get your phone number. They want to come back around and pretend to like you. They never liked you. They never did. Look back. Were they really there for you when it really mattered? No. Did they ever go to any of your functions or anything that you liked to do? No. Were they ever present at any of those? No, they weren't. So you could have been picked for a program a long time ago when you were a very young kid. Don't be surprised, man, if you were picked for something that you are now just waking up to. That is not your fault that you were placed in this program. It's on a very intense level of harassment, to the point of, they will make you homeless. They absolutely will try. And the only way they got to me is because I woke up. Before I woke up, I met one of these people, and then I plugged back in. I didn't know what was going on. You might plug back in. Don't do that. Now I'm here to tell you at age 28, I just turned 28. You do not want to do that. That is setting yourself up for a life of hardship, cheating, thieving, stealing, lies, crooked agreements, being your food, being drugged by these narcissists. Okay, you have to get as far away from them as humanly possible. And if that involves getting out of the state and going somewhere else altogether, do it. Like we've said, that won't change everything from the spiritual dynamic. It won't. It will not change everything. So you have to know your strategies and be proactive with them. That way, when anything is to trigger you or to activate that circumstance with the narcissist or someone that's trying to mug you or whatever, you're able to handle the attacks. If you need to get armed, do it. Let your intuition also guide you and be strong with the Lord. You know what you're dealing with. You know what you're up against. You know what level of targeting you're on. It could progressively get worse, and for me it has. And so be ready for that level of targeting. And they're going to deny. There's no point in talking to the people involved because they're going to deny. It's a level 1 felony. They're committing level 1 and lesser felonies than that. Conspiracy is a life sentence, 30 years to life for a level 1 felony. So for what you're committing, people, do you really think a level 1 felony, let's use your brain here, is worth going to prison for 30 plus years? At least 10. At least that. By the very least 7. If you get a time cut and you have to do what you do in there and be a beta male. that is by the very least the amount of time that you're going to get for and that's only some of you. Some of you are going to get the 20 to 30 and up to life sentences for the agreements you've made on my name, the slandering that you've put on my name, the lies, and all the other disinformation and misinformation you've spread about me and other targeted individuals. You're ruining our lives. We have no respect for you now. And if you're in that cutting bait stage, is what I call it, you're cutting them all off, sustain that. Maintain that. Maintain your frame. You don't want them to yeah, you don't want them to do that. You don't want them to keep you don't want them to keep thinking that they have that leg up on you. And you are giving that leg up on them if you decide to live with them for an extended period of time or even at all. Because you're showing that what they've done to you in the past is okay moving forward. You're showing that by people doing what they've done, well, that's okay. Then you're okay. You'll want to hear what they have to say. You're okay with them talking shit to you. Wake up, people. Really, you're not okay with that. I know you're not. You're not okay with people talking shit to you all the time, putting you down, making sure you can't work, you can't eat. If you can't work for someone, that's fine. But when they really smash it into your head, and you have to go without money in between jobs, why didn't they just come out and say we're not going to allow you to work for anyone? That would have been fucking nice to know. Well, you found out the hard way. Look at it like that. Now you know. Some of you can't work for anyone. I can't. It's not an option. It will not happen. And that's okay. That's just part of my life. That's just part of what happens with me. And for some of you, you are experiencing those higher levels of harassment, those higher levels of surveillance, higher levels of being monitored, followed, drugged, covertly fed LSD. I've had happen. Subsequently, people putting drugs in your tea, your drinks. Never accept a drink from any stranger, ever. Never do that. If you do that, you are also setting yourself up for failure. Never letting anyone prepare your food for you. Another way to set yourself up for complete dangerous, fake, possibly fatal failure. All right? That is how you actually you could kick the bucket on this shit if you allow them to do that. If you're not fully aware of your surroundings all the time and you don't have good situational awareness, get better at that. Try some mindfulness, meditation, and getting in the moment of your circumstances, the world, your view, what's going on with you. And that will greatly help to keep raising your vibration. Keep your diet healthy and things of that nature completely healthy. I know I'm drinking this, but seriously, this is pretty much it for a long time. I don't see how people do it anymore. You really gotta pour all that out. It doesn't even taste like anything. Yeah, those are the old viewpoints that we used to have. The old stuff. With that, you guys take care. Happy holidays. Be safe.